will they actually get this done tonight? Because the clock will be ticking on a potential 72-hour rule. They have to have time to read all of this. And there's a little thing called a recess coming in a couple of days.
Exactly. Another recess for Congress. We don't know if it's going to come together tonight. They've got to write 4 separate bills. And these things are hard. I mean, they're detailed documents. And they've got to get that done. They've got to write 4 of them. They may have the 72-hour rule. I saw just before we came in here that they're talking about waiving that 72-hour rule, which the opposition party always complains vociferously about because they want to read what's in it and make sure no one's screwing it up. And, and then it has to go to the Senate. And then the Senate has to vote on it. And they're not crazy about working this weekend, but they will if they have to. So who knows what's happening right now.
Well, and Wendy, who knows what will happen even if we actually do get a vote on Friday. It's a question of what comes after that, considering now there really could be a motion to vacate supported by not just 1, but 2 members of the Republican conference. And after Friday, we'll be down to a 1-vote margin because Congressman Mike Gallagher is retiring at the end of this week. So it's going to require Democrats to save the speaker potentially. What do Democrats need to see before they would ever consider casting a vote or just not showing up to a vote in order to protect Johnson?
Well, that's exactly why, Kailey, Democrats want to see these bills, because they want to see what's in it. They want to see if it's something they can live with. They don't want to go through the chaos of another speaker battle. And several, including Henry Cuellar from Texas and some others, have said they will probably vote to help Johnson keep his job, if he wants to, if he is faced with this motion to vacate. But you're absolutely right. When Mike Gallagher leaves next week, they need Democrats to help them. And the last time, as we remember, when Kevin McCarthy faced this fate, that the Democrats, helped open the door for him to leave. This time, I think patience may be wearing thin. They know that those who support Israel want that Israel aid passed quickly. Those who support Ukraine, including a lot of moderate and old school Republicans, want that aid to Ukraine. And, time is running out, as you say.
Indeed. Wendy Benjaminson, thank you so much. Of course, elsewhere in congressional news today, it is worth pointing out the articles of impeachment against the Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas were brought to the Senate today. We'll see how that is acted on tomorrow. It is very likely that effort will die in that chamber. Now, turning to the campaign trail and the split-screen images of Donald Trump here in Manhattan in a courtroom and President Biden campaigning in the swing state of Pennsylvania. We heard from former President Trump railing against the court earlier in New York this morning.
I should be right now in Pennsylvania, in Florida, in many other states, North Carolina, Georgia, campaigning. This is all coming from the Biden White House.
For more, we're joined by Bloomberg's Gregory Korte, who covers national politics for us. So we're still looking at the second day of proceedings ongoing, Gregory, but we have seen yesterday and certainly this morning that Trump is once again using these courtroom appearances to his advantage in an attempt to address the press and plead his case. Is this a pattern that is going to keep working for him as he is in trial as a criminal defendant, or does something change now in this moment?
Well, we certainly know that every time he appears on courthouse steps, he's indicted, he faces some other legal controversy. It's been a fundraising bonanza for him. But these small dollar donors that have been really propping up the Trump campaign are starting to get a little fatigued of writing $50, $100 checks every time Trump gets in legal trouble because, frankly, Trump's been in a lot of legal trouble. And so we'll see if Trump can continue to capitalize on this. The other thing that's different from some of these past events is that now we are in a general election phase. It's no longer Trump getting a bump from Republicans in the Republican primary from these cases, but now he's in a general election where independent voters might be turned off on the prospect of seeing one of the leading candidates for president in a courthouse every day.
You wonder if life is getting more complicated for both candidates here. Donald Trump stuck in a courthouse 4 days a week. Joe Biden is ensconced in a very controversial world that includes geopolitical strife and a couple of hot wars underway here, not to mention explaining away his efforts to combat inflation. I haven't even mentioned the border yet, Gregory. This isn't getting easier for either of them, is it?
No, certainly when you are the incumbent president, you own all of those issues. You own everything that's going on in the world. You own the economy. Mm-hmm. And, Biden needs to be able to get out and hit these swing states and make the case for why the economy is not doing as well as people think it is. That's been a tough case for him to make. Even though the economic data is pretty good, we had a little bit of a blip on the inflation read recently. We now have the Fed signaling that they are not lowering interest rates anytime soon. Mm-hmm. That's got to hurt people and thinking like the light at the end of the tunnel is not as close as we thought it was, maybe on the economy.